Good afternoon once again, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning. I'm Esther Anago. Please confirm you can hear me clearly again before I go on. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we are here today to talk about something that is truly exciting. You know the importance of having data skills now. Of course, I'm going to be talking about them later and how data skills can help us elevate our career and expand our opportunities. And this second session, the first speaker had already done justice to the introduction to data analytics, the different roles in data analytics, the tools that you need to learn, and every other thing that you need to know. And he had done justice to that. So I don't think there will be a need for me to reiterate those parts again. So this session right now is all about the fundamentals of SQL and data and Power BI rather. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at just the introduction to SQL and Power BI, and I need you to consider this as your foundation for the journey ahead, right? Especially for those that don't or have never used. I think when Akomolafe was talking earlier, he mentioned those that had used Excel before, but some persons did not raise their hand, right? Which means some persons still don't know the tools to use. And I believe you had already done justice to that. So, but for this session, we're only focusing on SQL and Power BI. So SQL and Power BI are the two essential tools that every modern data analyst needs. It's not just SQL and Power BI. Excel is also a fundamental tool. Excel is also a very important tool that everyone needs to learn. But then in this session, and it is easy to learn Excel. I believe so. I don't want to speak for everyone, but from what I've done so far, I believe Excel is very, very basic that anyone can handle because it is used across all organizations. A lot of people use it. And even while in school, I think we were taught Excel. So that's why we are not really delving into Excel right now. And we are just looking at the Power BI parts and the SQL parts. So like I said earlier, SQL and Power BI, they are the two essential tools that every modern data analyst needs. Whether you are a data scientist or whether you want to become a data scientist or you want to become a data analyst or you want to become a data engineer or you want to be a BI analyst, Excel is a very, very, very key tool that you must learn. And SQL is also very, very important. SQL is very, very important. It does not matter what path that you intend to go to. Maybe you are thinking, I want to go for data analysis. You want to become a data analyst, and you are saying, okay, I can tell the data engineer to help me to spool the data themselves, and then I use the spooled data. When I say spool, I mean extraction of data from the database. So please, whenever I say some technical terms that you don't understand, someone should just call my attention to it, or you can send it in the comments so that I can go back to it and explain better. Thank you. Because I believe this is an introductory class. And so, like I said earlier, whether you are going for data analyst role, or you want to become a data scientist, or you want to become a data engineer, it is very, very important that you know how to use SQL. It is a fundamental tool that you must learn. So because I remember when Abby was, she asked the question and said, okay, if you now understand, or if you have compared your interest, your passion now to the different roles that Akomolafe mentioned, which one would you want to go for? Right, she had already said it. And if you know the kind of the path that you want to go for, maybe data engineering, of course, you must know how to use SQL. It is very, very important for you. It's just that the way a data analyst would know it would not be as much as how a data engineer would use, because that's their key tool that they use. And that's why it is also very important for everybody to understand this tool, so that they would not be biting their fingers when they are asked questions in an interview. Yeah, so like I said, SQL is very, very important. Power BI is an essential tool that everybody uses. So SQL, yeah, I know you had already explained this before, but I will just, because that's what we are talking about right now. So I would now give a deeper understanding or deeper explanation of what the tools are. And if I'm too fast, please don't hesitate to call my attention so that I can slow down. Okay, so SQL is the language you use to talk to data. It is called structured query language. That's the full meaning of SQL. So it is what you use to talk the data to the database rather. It helps you to ask precise questions and pull and extract and pull data from the database. During the session, I'm also going to be explaining what database is so that you would understand fully what I'm talking about. And then Power BI is now what will help you to now convert the raw information that you got from the SQL database, from the database. That is what you would use to turn into something reasonable, something understandable that your audience, your stakeholder, the person that you are building that project for, the person that you are extracting data for, the person that you are trying to analyze your data for, that's what they would use to make the decision. So Power BI is what will help you to take that raw information that you got from the SQL database. That's what you would use to now tell a compelling story. It is what you would use to show a visual insight that will help your stakeholder, your organization to drive business decisions. And that's why it is very important for us to understand these key tools, these key fundamental tools. And so our goal right now for this session is not just to tell you, okay, this is, you need to know how to use the various commands such as select, such as where, such as joins, and all those commands. No, this is not just session is not just about knowing them. So we are also going to show you the power you gain when you master these tools, and we are going to keep it conversational, and we are going to be focusing on why we are even using it rather than the how or how to use it and all those things. But before we even start, I just wanted to start with something very important, right? Wherever I brought you here, whatever doubts that you have about whether you can do it, I've been there too, because I studied accounting. I didn't study computer science. I did not have any tech background. I studied accounting. I even have different colleagues in my organization that studied zoology, they studied physiology, they studied different logies, right? But they are currently in the data space doing wonders. So irrespective of your background, whether it is tech related or whether it is non-tech related, do not worry, do not bother about it. You can do it because I've been there as well. So, and I would even like to say that I was also scared of SQL initially. But right now, I'm here to tell you that you are capable of learning any skills that you need to learn, whether it is SQL, whether it is even Python that Komolafe talked about. Python is also very essential, but that's not why we are here. So now that we've set the stage, and now we're going to get to the heart of why we are here. Data is the new language of business. Data is the new oil. I know a lot of people have heard about it. Data is the new oil. Data is this and data, and that is the truth. That is the truth. Data is the new language of business, and learning it is the fastest way for you to gain professional independence. And you know that is the theme of this program, gaining professional independence. And so data would help you to really gain professional independence. So first, like I said, data skills are universally in demand, irrespective of the industry, whether it is sports. I've had engagements with people who are in sports. They want to also use sports analytics to make better decisions. So irrespective of the industry, whether you are in sales, whether you are in marketing, whether you are in medicine, health related sector, whether it is finance, whether it is fintech, whichever area that you fall into, or whether everybody needs it. It is highly in demand, right? Every company, from small non-profit to global corporation, they need people that can understand their data. A lot of companies have data at their disposal, but they don't know how to make sense of it. And that's why we are here, to help these companies to make sense of it. And a lot of people, like I said, a lot of companies now, that's why they are lagging behind, because they have their customers' information. They have their customers, their clients' details, but they don't know how to make sense of it. They don't know how to say, oh, this person is a high-valued customer. How can I serve him better? Okay, this person is a low-valued customer. Could it be because we are not treating them well? Maybe that's why they are not doing well. Maybe that's why they are not transacting with us. right? Maybe this person. So data helps us to. So companies need people that would help them to make sense of data, that would help them to understand the data and help them to make informed decisions with data. So irrespective of the company, everybody needs data, and that's why we are here. And that means that data skills are highly transferable. And another thing is your unique background is a huge asset. Data skills or data analysis is not just maths, statistics, building of beautiful dashboards, or extracting data from the database, but it's about asking smart questions, right? And your life experiences will also give you that edge. It will give you a perspective that others might even not have. And finally, the independence factor is also huge. Data roles are often remote, right? I don't go to work every day. I don't go to work every day. It is hybrid, right? It is flexible for me. So, and that's one of the advantages of being in data. So it gives you control over your schedules and your location. I've seen a lot of LinkedIn posts where people would be like, okay, they're inside the plane analyzing their data. They are not at work. They are not present at work, but they are just anywhere they want to be. So far, it is flexible. So far, they can control it. So how do we start accessing this power? We've already seen the power of data, right? So we start by learning the language of data sets. We've talked about the language, which is Excel, and this brings us to Excel. So now we want to talk about Excel. I said earlier that a lot of people feel that Excel is very hard. Okay, a lot of people feel that Excel is very, very hard. It is not completely true. I think I've engaged with a lot of people where they will be like, okay, after learning Excel, SQL is hard. They don't know SQL. It is like a very, very big language. And SQL is just like learning a new language. Maybe you are a Yoruba person. For those in Nigeria, you are a Yoruba person and you want to learn French. Yeah, you can't start learning French today and knowing French immediately. It's not possible. So it will take time and consistency. It will take practice as well. So you don't just say, okay, I want to learn Yoruba. No, I want to learn French. And you just open your Duolingo app now and start learning it and you want to know it immediately. So SQL is also like that. Please, anytime I mention Excel, it's like I love Excel so much. It is SQL I'm talking about. So SQL, we are talking about SQL today and Power BI. So it's not really Excel. So anyways, I love Excel, so that may be the reason. So like I said, SQL is like it's for those that are new now, not those that have been in the business. For those that are new, right? Excel, I said Excel. SQL is like a new language that you learn. So it will take time. So when you start learning now and you see some big commands or you see some technical terms that you feel, do you think I'll be able to know this? Do not worry. It takes time. It takes consistency. And when you practice, it will stick to it. It will stick to you, right? You'll be able to know how to do it. And that was how I did it. Recently, I think it was maybe last 2 months. So one of my colleagues wrote some scripts, SQL scripts. And it was like, okay, Esther, please help me to check this. This thing is hard. Sorry, I got an error. What do you think it is? Immediately I saw the error. I knew where the error was from. And then I told her, oh, it's because of this. Oh, because you did not have this. Oh, because of this. And she was like, how did you know it? I told her that it's because I've been practicing constantly. It's because this is what I've been doing for over 4 years. So it's not something new to me anymore. And that's how it is. So if you're starting today and you want to learn everything today, you want to know everything, you want to know how to join, you want to know how to use SQL, your select command, from command, all those commands that are in Excel, you want to know how to use Windows function, it will not be possible. So please just calm down, take your time, use resources. I'm going to be sharing resources later like W3 schools that would help you to learn Excel so well. So like I said, data is powerful. We've already talked about it, but how do you get to it? And that's why SQL comes in, like I said before. So I said earlier that SQL is a structured query language. It is the universal language for talking to your database. And I believe Komolafe also explained what database is. Database is like an organized warehouse, Warehouse where you have full of information. It is organized. It is not organized. It is not unorganized. So a database is organized. You have data of your customers. You have data of your sales. You have data, a lot of information about your company. That's a data. It's an organized warehouse full of information, and you don't need to wander aimlessly. You just need something. You need a precise way to ask for exactly what you need, and SQL is what will help you to do it. SQL is what will help you to extract what you want in the database for your analysis. So I like to give this instance that it is like you going to a restaurant now and you want to order from a menu, right? You don't go to the kitchen to cook it, no. But what you do is to tell the chef exactly what you want, and they bring it out for you. And that's what Excel does for you. So it brings what you want in the database. Maybe you want a list of customers in Abuja. Maybe you want a list of customers in Germany. Maybe you want a list of customers in India in my organization. Excel will help you to extract that. Ordinarily, how would you do it? So Excel is that language that would help you to extract information from the database. So today we are not really focusing on any other thing like creating tables or deleting the data, but what we'll be focusing on today is data retrievals, how we can retrieve data from the database. So we are learning how to ask the data, what? Please give me the data I need to answer this question. This is the foundation of becoming a data analyst. I know, like I said before, irrespective of the path, irrespective of the role that you want, whether you want to become a data scientist, you know that scientists are the ones that use Python and do those advanced things. And then engineers are those that help you to structure everything, bring everything all together, ensure that everything is set for the analyst and the scientist to work. But that does not mean a data scientist or a data analyst will just sit down and be like, okay, let me wait for the data engineer to be. So is it not their work to help me to extract data and put it in one place so that I can use it? No. So that's why it is also essential for everybody, irrespective of your role, to know how to use SQL, and to know how to query data from the database. So are you ready to learn your first few words in this new language? We're going to be looking at the two most fundamental concepts right now, the two most fundamental language commands which are select and where. So the core of every single SQL query you will ever write boils down to two words, and they are select and from. So if SQL is a sentence now, select will be the verb, while from will be the object of the sentence. Select tells you what column do you need. Do you need the names of our customers? Do you need the emails of our customers in the database? Do you need the total of our customer? Maybe the total count of our customers. Select is what will tell you what the columns you want. It will help you to know, okay, if this is what you want, select will help you. So you can specify right there. And if you want it to give you everything, that's where you will now have your asterisk, also known as, is also star. So which means all columns. So here you write select star from the table name. So we can have a lot of tables in the database. So it is not you that will use SQL to write select star if you want everything. But to optimize your script, we don't always advise people to use star, because when you use star, it will bring everybody. And I don't think it's all the columns in the database that you would use. There are some columns that you would need in your table or whatever analysis that you want to do. You can't use all the tables. And that's why it is essential to know all these things, know how to optimize your code so that you will not be running a script for like 2 hours when it's meant to take like 15 minutes, right? So let's go back to this select. We have select star from table name. So select star helps us to retrieve all the columns in the table. There are some times that you just have to write out the names of the columns that you want to check. But there are some times, especially when you are new, maybe you newly got to an organization, you may not really know the names of those tables by heart because you just got there. So you don't know what it entails. So that's why you can now say, okay, select top 2 star from this table so that it will give you the top 2 details or rows or customer details, and that will now help you to see all the customer names. Please, if you are writing down, you can write down for those that are new. If you are not new, well, I believe you are going to learn 1 or 2 things as well. So like I said, instead of you writing everything down, you can just say select top 2 star from this table name, and then it will give you the top 2 rather than you running everything. Because in my company we have over how many million customers? Do you want this Excel script to give you the not all the million customers, and you don't even need all of them for your analysis? Do you want to analyze all the million customers, all the 10 million customers that we have? So that's why, Sarah, sometimes we need to understand all these basic things, because these are the things that would help us to do better, to analyze better. So I've already talked about using of asterisks, and I've talked about, I emphasized using column names. For those that don't know, that maybe newly joined a bank, you can just write top 2 stars, so that it will just select your top 2 stars. You'll see all the column names, and then thereafter you can now select the table names or the column names that you need for your analysis. So the next thing is from. From tells the database which table or which specific list of data you are pulling from. So which table am I pulling from? Is it the customer table you want to pull from? Is it the order tables you want to pull from? Is it the employee table? An organization can have different tables, like I said before. We can have customer table, we can have order table, we can have employees table, we can have different kinds of table. So from would help you to select, oh, this is the table I want to get it from. So now that's great. So but oftentimes you don't want all the table, and like I said before, if you don't want all the tables and you only want a specific subset rather, a specific group of people, maybe you just want all female customers in my organization, that's where we use where, the where clause. So we use where is like your filter in Excel. For those that have used Excel before, where is your filter Excel? It lets you narrow down millions of rows to just a few things that matter. For example, on this slide you can see that you want to you are telling SQL that show me all customers where they live in Berlin, and their order was over 100. So you can see that we've used and here, because we are filtering to 2 different things. We want to filter to the country, to the city, and we're also filtering to the we're also filtering to the order, right? We want to know those that have over $100 rather. So that's what this tells us. So where helps us to filter, to select some subset what we want to get from the database. So this combination, select, from, and where, gives you incredible control. So you are no longer drowning in data, drowning in 100 millions of data. Now you want the specific things that you need. Now you are extracting the exact information that would help you or that you would need for your analysis. But what if you want to summarize that data? And that's where we have aggregate or aggregation. We have group by. Group by helps us to aggregate. We have different aggregate functions. We have count, we have sum, we have average, as on the slide. And so far, like I said, we've already learned how to select specific columns and filter down to specific rows by using where clause. But sometimes you don't want the individual details of all the customers. Like I said before, you don't want a list of all the 10 million customers that you run. And there are sometimes you may just need the big picture. You want to see a high-level summary of what it is. And that's where group by comes in, right? That's where it shines. And group by helps you to group rows that have the same values, and then you run a calculation on those groups. For example, now you can see on the screen, you can use the count function to see how many, I explained earlier that we have different aggregation, and aggregation helps us to aggregate. It's just like you using value counts, or in Python now, to help you to group by, right? So this counts function helps you to count the total number of something, to get the count of your customers, to get the count of your orders, to get the count. Sum helps you to sum your values, add values together, and then the average helps you to calculate the average score. So you want to use count function to select how many customers you have in this country, in each country, and that's what you can see here. You can see select country and then comma count customer ID from customers, and then you are now grouped by the country that you are looking for. So you can see that rather than you having a list of customers with their country names, with their orders, with their something, all other details that they have, these will now give you the country name, and then it will now give you the count of customers in each country. And then the second powerful concept is joins. We have different joins. And the truth is, data is rarely stored in one giant table. It is spread across many smaller linked tables. I said earlier that you can have order table, yeah. You can have customer table, you can have a sales table, you can have employees table. So we don't have everything in one table. So that's why we usually have table spread across. So we would use join to stitch the information that we want together. So it's like matching receipts that a person it's like matching the receipt that a person paid for. So for instance, we want to know, okay, this person in the customer data, I want to see the kind of transaction that he has done. I want to see the receipt of his transaction. So this will help you, which means that we need the order table and we need the customer table. And for you to match it, you need to match the two together. And what we use is joins. We use joins to help us to match tables together so that we can use them for our analysis. We have different kinds of joins. We have the left join, we have the right join, we have the inner join, we have the outer join, we have different kinds of, so depending on what you intend to do. So that's why I will advise that please, you can go, I already told you about W3 schools that would help you to learn more about SQL. You are not going to do everything here, because we only have 1 hour and a few minutes to go. So we use an inner join to combine customer names and their specific columns. So now, we've spent time to talk about SQL, how it is important for us to extract SQL, how it is important for you to know how to query your database, irrespective of where you are coming from. So we just spent time learning how to use SQL to navigate the database and to pull out exactly what we need. So now we are going to be moving into the kitchen. I said earlier that you move to, or you go to a restaurant, right? And then you want food. You're not going to go to the kitchen and cook. Though it is the chef that will go to the kitchen. So it's not the chef that will bring that food, that will bring the food. They will combine everything, put different ingredients together and all. And then they will now make it beautiful for you. So that when they are bringing it, you would like the food. It's not like they are bringing raw pepper, they are bringing raw tomatoes, they are bringing raw rice for you. You're not the one cooking. They are not bringing it for you to cook. They'll be the one to do everything and then bring it, the cooked one, clearly designed, beautifully designed, and bring it for you. Sometimes when we see, I will say Oyibo people are those outside the country. Whenever we see their place, we see leaf here, we see things here, they will put honey on top of something, and then everything is well garnished. When you even see it, you'll be like, what's this? And there are some persons that have pleasure looking at those things, and that's how it is. So we are not just bringing raw things to your audience. Okay, this is the data. No, you're helping them to analyze it. You're helping them to bring visuals, and that's why Power BI will help you to visualize it, help you to put it in a beautiful way, so that anybody that looks at the inside that you got, they will not be like, okay, so what do you want me to do? So, or you're not now giving them worded slides and telling them, okay, this is what I discovered, and you're giving like 7 paragraphs. No, as a data analyst, what you would do is to now ensure that it is visualized, and that's what we use Power BI to do. So Power BI is a tool that we take that raw data and turn it into a beautiful, insightful meal, and that's where you become a storyteller. Power BI is a business intelligence tool that makes data analysis accessible and powerful. We have different data visualization tools. We have Tableau, we have Power BI, we have Looker Studio, a lot of them. All these are visualization tools, data visualization tools, and they help you to tell story with your data, and Power BI is one of them. So it is not just about creating pretty pictures, pretty charts. And I know a lot of people will go on LinkedIn, they will see someone post a very beautiful thing, but they don't really tell us. They have a lot of information overload. To avoid that, that's why you need to learn the art of storytelling. Someone has written the book. I usually forget the name because she's not in Nigeria, so she has one name like that has not stuck to my head yet. So, and I believe maybe majority of you have seen that book already. Storytelling with data. She has everything there that would help you. So if you don't have the book, please, you can look for it so that you would know how to tell stories with data better. So like I said, it's not just all these pretty charts and all. So, but it's about you turning the numbers, turning the raw data that you saw in the database, that you extracted for the database, and then translating them into a clear narrative that anybody will understand. So I think you should look at it this way, that raw data gives you facts. Excel will give you the fact, but Power BI will give you the context. It will give meaning to what you got from the database. And this time, you show how well you can tell your story of the analysis you've done in a way that business will understand. There are some persons that they know the technical tools. They know how to use Python. By the time they start talking about Python like this, you'll be like, wow, this person is good. But telling people how to use, okay, tell me the insights that you got from it. Explain to me how better I can use this insight that you got. They don't know how to say it. There are some people that know how to build dashboard. They are very, they know how to visualize, graphic designers and all those things. When you see this, it's very beautiful. But now telling them, making them to understand, making these people, the stakeholders that need the analysis that you've done, helping them to ensure that they understand what you've done is another thing. And that's why it is very, very, so what's now the use of doing analysis when you can't explain what you've done? When you can't make them to better understand what you've done. So that's why it is very important for us to also learn all these things, and that is what sets us apart. It is very, very important. So you're not just reporting data. Okay, in March we had an increase in sales in March, and then in June there was a decline. You're not just telling them what you saw. You're also driving decisions. And so what? So after you've told me, okay, we have this one, what else are you telling me? What else should I do? And this is where we come in. We will now tell them. So we are like doctors. This is what I hold one-on-one sessions with people where I tell them that we are like doctors. So we are not, we will look at you, we'll examine you, we'll be like, okay, you have malaria. Okay, you have this sickness. The next thing to do is to do your test after doing your test, of course, after testing you. Okay, you have this. Okay, can you go to, can you stop taking cold water? Can you stop taking sweet things? Can you stop sleeping without nets? They will recommend, they will tell you, so that because when you stop sleeping without nets, this will happen. Okay, when this happens, this will happen. Doctors do not just
Thank you. Thank you.
So doctors do not just tell you this is what we see and that's all. They will go further by recommending things you need to avoid and things you need to do. Recently, I went to the hospital. They were like, oh, your blood level is low. What is happening? Is it stress and all? And then they told me, okay, you need to eat more fruits. You need to do this. You need to do this. And that is how we are as data analysts. So we don't just report data. We don't just show you what insights that you get from your analysis. We also recommend, okay, there was a spike in March. Okay, could it be because we did an initiative? Maybe we gave discounts to this customer. Is it possible that we can replicate this thing next month so that we have more sales? That is what we do as data analysts. And so what does this, and I had already, and that is what we do on Power BI. We don't just tell them what it is. We also explain to them, make them easily understand what we are doing. So what does this storytelling process look like in action? We are going to be walking through the exact steps Power BI uses to turn raw data into actionable insights. So how does Power BI actually work? It's magic. It follows a clear 4-step flows, as you can see on the screen right now, and understanding the flow helps you to master the tools. So we're going to be starting with the first thing. The first thing is to connect. This is where you link Power BI to your data source. You could have Excel data source. You could have database that you just queried from using SQL rather. You could even have cloud services. You can extract data from your service. You can connect to cloud services. You can connect to websites. For instance, there was a time I also had a session with some persons where I showed them how they can extract a table from the website and do an analysis of it from it on it. There are so many of you that will be like, hey, there is no data set. I don't know the kind of data sets to use. And there are a lot of data sets out there. You can go to Wikipedia, you can go to ChatGPT. A lot of data sets are there that you can use. The one that nobody has used before. For instance, now you can go to ChatGPT. I keep saying chatbot. You can go to ChatGPT, tell it, explain to it the kind of problem you want to solve. Okay, I'm an oil company and this one is happening. I want you to help me to spool 50,000 rows of data, help me to extract it, put this column or suggest possible column because I want to do an analysis. Nobody knows this same mind that you have. Nobody knows this same problem that you're trying to solve. Other people they don't know it. And that's why when you do this, when you prompt the database like that, when you tell it what you want, sorry, I said database, when you prompt the ChatGPT like that, it's going to give you the table in an Excel file or whatever way you want it. And when you do that, the next thing it will now do is for you to do your analysis. You can now bring it in, or you can just pull directly from Wikipedia. You can ask, okay, the top, somebody can do it right now. You can ask, go to Wikipedia and write top 10 supermarkets in Nigeria or top 10 supermarkets in the world. It's going to bring a table for you. And then you will now copy that link and send it to your database and then, to your Power BI and do your analysis. And this is a project that you can add to your portfolio. So, like I said, the first thing is to connect. You can connect from different places. I mentioned earlier, you can connect from Excel, you can connect from CSV files, you can connect from databases, you can connect from cloud services, you can connect web, I mentioned all those things. And then the next one, after bringing in your data to your Power BI, the next thing is for you to transform it, which happens in a powerful feature called Power Query. Few of you might have heard of Power Query. It is where we do our transformation because we can't work with dirty data. This is the cleaning phase. You can't tell a good story with messy data. You can't build a beautiful dashboard with a dirty data. You can't build your models as a data scientist with a dirty data, with an inaccurate data. You can't be an engineer bringing different things with a dirty data. Of course, engineers will bring from different places, and so they still transform. Of course, they still do transformation irrespective of what you are doing. So you can't do anything with a dirty data, because if you do anything with a dirty data, it means you're going to bring in dirty insights after doing your analysis. And companies are using the analysis that you got. They believe you. They trust your judgment. They know that you understand data. They know that you can make sense of data. And if you're using dirty data to do things for them, do you know what will happen? They're going to make wrong decisions with the data. And when they make wrong decisions with the data, what will happen to the company? It will affect them. It will cost them a whole lot. It's just like them saying, because from your data, after doing your analysis, you now give them that, okay, they made over 10 billion. And usually they make like 2 billion. They make like 3 billion. And you are telling them they make like 10 billion. Maybe because you did not remove duplicates from your data analysis, from the analysis that you did. And you tell them, okay, they have 10 billion. They'll be very excited. But by the time they tell the shareholders, yes, we made 10 billion this month, because they did not verify what you did, because they believed that you did it well, because they believed that you knew how to do everything. They just accepted it like that. And then they are now trying to compare it to the expenses that they made. And they see that, they will not be surprised that, why did you tell us this? We've already told the shareholders, we've already told the regulators that we made this amount of money. Do you know how it will feel? It will affect the organization. It will even affect you. And that's why it is very essential that as you are collecting data, ensure that you transform it, ensure that you clean it, because clean data will lead to reliable insights. And then the next thing is model. Just like we used joins in Excel, model also helps us to create relationships between different tables in Power BI, and it also allows the tool to calculate complex metrics accurately. So finally, the next thing that we do is to visualize, and this is where we tell the story. This is where we tell them, okay, this is the insight that we've done. This is where we tell them, okay, this is the sales that we made over time, etc. So this is where we visualize, and this is the fun part of it, where you create a chart, the dashboard that tell your story. And remember that each step that we mentioned just now builds on the last one. A strong foundation in the first 3 steps that we said before guarantees that your visualization are accurate and impactful. That transformation is very important. If you don't bring it well, even your connect, maybe what you're supposed to write, your SQL query, if you don't know it very well, and you are connecting, you are joining different things, and then they are duplicating a lot of things. And then after bringing all those duplicates, you put it on Power Query, and you did not even remove duplicates. You did not adjust the inconsistencies in the data. You did not adjust the column names, column headers. You didn't do anything. You just brought it into your your Power BI, and then you are now building your models, and then you are now bringing in charts, and that's all. Then it's going to be a very big problem. So that's why it is essential that you take these 3 steps very, very seriously, so that you'll be able to show accurate visualizations and impactful visualizations. So now, what are the Power BI essentials? Okay, before we go there, so here we have the Power BI visualization tools. The different charts that we use. This is the visualizations step, and I told you earlier, it is where you translate your numbers into pictures, into graphs, into charts, and we need to choose the right picture for the right message. So we have 3 essential visuals that we use at all times. I don't think I've used any other one. Even heat map, all those things, all those visuals that it shows, we don't really use them. But the major things that we use are bar chart, line chart, and pie chart. That pie chart has an issue, but I'm going to talk about it later. But the major ones that people use most times, they are bar charts, line charts, and pie charts. Please confirm you can hear me before I go on. Am I audible? Or you can write in the comments, we are following. I am following. I am
Hi,
following.
Esther. Can you hear me?
I am following. Yes, Abby.
Yes. I think that I don't think you have. Can you see the chats?
I can't see the charts.
Oh, that's why.
Okay.
So can you access the chats in 1 minute
Okay, no problem.
so that people can be carried along and all? I think that would help a lot.
Okay, it's okay. Were you raising your hand before?
And I'm going to drop them now because I have been able to
Okay,
pay
I
attention.
can't see but let me expand it and see if I can see it. Okay, let me check the
Yes,
charts.
please. Thank you.
Okay, let me go down. So is it that they have questions or I don't know?
So there are a few. There was one question in the chat box, and then we sent you something as well. So just so that everybody's on the same page.
Okay, so someone says in Python we have the data frame.head function which helps filter the first 5 rows for your row. What function in Excel helps select the first 5 rows? You know what I told you before? I said earlier that you use top. Okay, so if it is 5 you want, you will say select top 5 star from the table. So that's what you use to select your top. So even if you want 100, you also tell it select top star 100 from this table. Is that clear, Oluwatobi? And then the other one is, are there other useful resource platforms we can explore other than W3 schools? There are a lot of platforms. W3 is very free. And the reason I tell people to use W3 schools is because okay, let me show myself. Okay, so the reason I tell people to use W3 schools is because it is very simple. They explain things in a way that you would understand, especially for someone that does not have any tech background. So that's why I always tell people use W3 schools because they explain things in a way that you would understand. And so other platforms are Data Camp. You can use YouTube. There is one man on YouTube. He's a creator on YouTube. They call him Bara something. I'm going to search for it and send it to you. He explains things well. Even especially if you want to become a data engineer and you are interested in SQL, you want to go deep into SQL, you want to know how to use SQL a lot, the advanced level, you want to move from the basic to intermediate to advanced. You need to learn from the man, Bara. I'm going to search for it later and then send it before the end of this program. Please remind me, I beg you. And then the other tools, like I said, we have Data Camp, we have Coursera, we have other free platforms. I'm also going to be sending it to them. Please confirm you can see my screen before I go on.
Yes, we can.
Okay, and I'll be very fast now. Time is. When am I supposed to finish? Okay, so I was talking about this part, which is the visualization step. It is where you translate numbers into pictures. It's where you translate the numbers that you pull from your database, is where you translate it into visuals, into charts that people would be able to understand. And I was talking about about choosing the right picture, choosing the right chart, choosing the right visual that you're trying to pass across. So we have 3 essential visuals, like I said before. The first one is bar chart. I use it almost every day because we're trying to compare one or two things, one or two categories. That's where you use your bar charts. So for instance, if you want to compare the sales performance across different regions, you use bar chart for that. So if you're trying to compare this one to this one, you use pie chart. Bar chart. And then another thing is we have line charts. Line chart helps us to show trends over time. helps us to show trends over time. For instance, I gave an illustration before. Maybe you're trying to show your company the sales that they made in 2025, so which means you're going to show them January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So you are showing the time, which means you need to use. So if you are using bar charts now, it will not be too jam-packed like what you can even see on the screen right now. See this chart here, up here. It's not a bar chart, but see how everything is. Who can tell story with this kind of thing? So, and that's why it is essential for us to also know the kind of charts to use for the kind of thing that we're trying to display or show our audience. So I talked about line chart. It's used to show trends over time. If you want to see how your web traffic has changed over the last year, you can also see it with your line chart over the last year. So it means it still talks about time. And then lastly, pie chart helps us to show proportions, how much each part contributes to a whole. But most times, personally, I advise data analysts, data BI analysts especially, because they are the ones that would use Power BI the most. So I advise them not to use pie chart because it does not always show full representation of your data, of what you are trying to tell. For instance, now, maybe we have for gender, we have female, 50%. We have male, 46%. And we have others, 4%. Everything totals a whole, right? That's 100. Now, if we are to use pie chart to visualize it, if we don't include a label to it, if you don't write, okay, 50%, 46%, the audience will be like, okay, so which one is the highest one? Because they are close. The percentage is so close to each other. And that's why we always advise this chart that you see here, this donut chart. Sometimes we advise people to use it. I've been using it recently, though, but I don't use pie charts. We don't advise people. Even this lady, that book that I shared earlier, Cole something that wrote the storytelling with data, she advised people not to use pie charts, and it's key. So it's very, very important for us to also know the kind of thing we are doing. Okay, so I think I've talked about the major ones, but there is another beautiful feature that Power BI has, which is called slicers. So slicers, they are like interactive filters that we have, or that we have in SQL, and filter that we have in Excel. So slicers allow that. They help us to interactively work on your audience. It helps them to interact with the dashboard. So you're not just showing them static reports that they will not look at it and be like, okay, and so what if I want to get the female customers? How do I check it? Do they need to just be scrolling? So that's where we have slicers, where we just select whatever thing they want to. So they don't just give them static data, like I said. You give them an opportunity to ask questions. Okay, what if I want to check this? Okay, what if I want to check for a branch in a particular bank? Do you get? So that's why slicers are also very, very important when you are building a dashboard. So now we know the building blocks. How do we put them together to create a truly insightful dashboard? So, I said before, it's not just putting dashboard, putting a bar chart, putting pie chart, putting table. Table is also like a visual that we use to visualize. We use it every time. So we don't always say table is a visual, is a chart, because table is like a data set on its own. But we also use tables to visualize on our dashboard. We add it as well to our dashboard. So it's not just dropping tables, dropping pie charts, dropping line chart, dropping a lot of things, clog them together in a dashboard. There are some things, just tell your story well. Are you trying to talk about sales? Put it in a dashboard. You have the opportunity to create another tab on Power BI. So you can create another tab. Maybe this time you want to talk about the locations where people do transactions. So you are not really putting them on a slide that has everything. So that's why it is very important for us to truly tell insightful dashboard. Insightful dashboard. Tell insightful stories. It's not a situation where you build a dashboard and you want to communicate the dashboard. You want to walk them through. Because when you build a dashboard, of course, you will give your audience access to it. You allow them to use the dashboard. So you're not just building dashboard, and now when you now want to explain to them, walk them through, they now open the dashboard and they're like, what is happening? What is happening in this dashboard? What exactly do you want me to get from this dashboard? We don't want it for our stakeholders. We don't want that for our audience. We want them to see the dashboard and easily check, in March, we had the highest revenue. Oh, in February, the onboarding, the amount of customers we onboarded declined. It should be very easy for them to make decisions with it, not opening the dashboard and then they see this one here, they see red here, they see yellow here, they see green here, they see. So to avoid all these things, it will give them headache. So we want to avoid that. We are data analysts or we are BI analysts. We should be able to tell our stories well. So that when you are telling them, it will be easy for me. It's not that we are adding to their problem. They gave you their problem to do. And then you are now bringing more problem to the problem they are giving you. So we want to avoid all these things. Right? If you are following, please, I want to see I am following. Please confirm. Okay, thank you, Wisdom. I can see you clap. Okay, I think you should clap instead rather than saying I'm following because that clapping will help me to see. Okay, so first, your dashboard must tell a story. You know, I've been saying this thing. We are not just building something. We are not just showing them, okay, I know how to use Power BI. Okay, I'm a graphic designer. I learned how to do graphic designs. You cannot say, okay, I'm a data scientist. I know how to build models, but can you tell stories with what you've built? Can you tell stories with the dashboard you've created? And that's why it is very essential for you to be able to tell your stories, know how to arrange your visuals so that it will guide your viewers from the big picture, right, down to the specific details that you're trying to show them. Don't make them hunt for the answer. You know, I said it earlier. They're not trying to check it. Okay, and this one that you built, okay, what's it saying? Okay, this one, even the naming convention, you're supposed to name it well, the title of your chart. You're not just giving it one name like that comes to your head. You are giving it a very good name that when they see the name, when they see the title of that slide, they will be, oh, you are trying to show the trends of sales in 2025, which is the best. So don't make them to hunt for answers. Secondly, every visual should answer a specific business question. You know, I said it earlier. It's not compulsory for you to build a dashboard and maybe they gave you like 3 different questions, problems to solve. You're now bringing everything in one slide. You can just create a tab for the first solution, create a tab for the second solution, create another tab for the third solution instead of bringing everything. So please, every visual that you build should have. A lot of people make mistake in this thing. When they are even doing interview and they are showing it to the interviewers, they'll be showing them a clocked dashboard. So please, let's avoid all those things. If you are visualizing, ensure that all your visuals are not put in a place. All the problems that you're trying to solve are not put in a place, but they are giving each visual, each tab. So if you can't articulate the question a chart answers, it does not belong to dashboard. Recently, I did I'm a data scientist. Akomola Fetu is a data scientist. I'm glad. So recently, I built a model, segmentation model. I've built it for a very long time now, of course. So, but we did more things in that model. So we went to in our organization, we have different units. We have the BI guys, we have the data scientists, we have the data engineers, and we have the data science team. So, but there are organizations that we have only one. That's you will be the full stack data professional. That's why it's essential for you to also learn these tools. Don't say, okay, I'm not a data scientist. I will not learn how to use Python. Python is essential. If you are a tech person, don't learn it now. If you are new to tech, please just learn the basic first. Later, when you are confident enough, you can now go to Python to learn. But for now, please wait so that you will not get overwhelmed. So as I was saying, so I went to my BI guys. I told him, okay, we needed a dashboard to track the impact of the model I built. You know, we are not just telling them, giving them model and then, of course, they need to also track it. Okay, what is the usefulness of this model I built? What is helping you to do? Is it bringing in more customers? Is it helping more customers? Is it helping the company to bring in more transactions? Right? So these are the things. So I told him, okay, I want to, because I shared a lot of insights with them. So I wanted him to also allow, so that the audience, the stakeholder, those that I helped build the project, will be able to look at the impact and be like, oh, when you gave me this data, you told me that 120,000 customers were not transacting. Now, after my engagement, my model will make them to engage. So now, after my engagement, I want to see that 5,000 people have started transacting. That's what the dashboard will help you to do. So dashboard would also help you to see, oh, okay, after we did transaction with this period, I can see that we had. So now, I told him, he built it. When he came for walkthrough before we met the original owner of the dashboard, He gave me a chart that lists the table, the branch names, But I told him we don't need this. This person does not really need this info. There are sometimes that a lot of people will just put a lot of information. Okay, because I feel I assume they would want it. When you engage with your stakeholders, you know what they want. So give them what they want. Don't add another thing that they don't want. Unless you feel that that info will help them. But it's not always like that. Because this BI guy, felt that it would be useful for them. But I told him, no, there is no need for adding it, because it won't solve that. That's not what they want. They want to just see the impact of what they've done, which is to see whether these customers are now transacting or not. And that's how it is. So please ensure that you don't add another thing. Something that will not answer their question, will not solve their problem. Don't add it. It does not belong to the dashboard. So don't overdo things. Personally, I overdo, but not in a negative way. If I know that, yes, this thing is what will help you. For instance, now, maybe an audience tells me, okay, they need a list of customers across different states. The overdo that I'm talking about is to help them to have a slicer, rather than them doing the filters themselves in an Excel file. Rather than them going to filter, they filter to they filter the branch a lot of times. Okay, they want those in the northwest, they go to they go to filter and filter to northwest. Instead, okay, they want the southeast, they go to rather than them doing it one filtering manually. What if they have a lot of values under the northwest, under the location now? So what I overdid now was now to give them a filter where they would go filter through. Okay, that filter will now show them, okay, this is northwest, this is southwest, this is northeast, this is this. They will now comfortable go there, click on it, and it will show them automatically. That's overdue. But if they don't tell you to solve a problem, for instance, you are adding a branch that you don't need. So let's try and avoid all those things. Anything that is not needed in your dashboard, please avoid it, so that it will not confuse the audience the more. Okay, so I told you earlier, you use make it interactive. I said it before. I talked about slicer just now in my Excel. Even in Excel, you can create slicer. It helps it to be interactive, make it easier for them rather than manually filtering. So you can see also in your Power BI, you can also add slicers to it to make it interactive. It's not just dormant, it's not just there, it's not just static. You're making it to be interactive. And use those slicers to help them to engage well with the data, and that's what is very important. And when you follow these principles, you create a dashboard that does not just look good, that does not just look beautiful, especially those that are graphic designers. Some of them, they know how to combine colors a lot, so it does not just look good, but it helps them to drive their action. And that's the major reason why we are doing our analysis, is to help them to make decisions. If your dashboard does not help them to make decisions, then why are you building it? If your dashboard does not help them to solve problems, then why are you building it? If your models as a data scientist does not help solve problems, then why are you building it? So, and then I think one of the things I didn't talk about before, I think I said it earlier. There are some people that don't know, that they are not consistent in their designs. They use a different font family. They will use Open Sans today. They will use time series Romance tomorrow. And sorry, not today, like on a chart now, on a tab. They'll use Open Sans, they will use time series, they will use Montserrat, I don't know what name they call it, but we have a lot of things. We have robot something, different text fonts. They will see it on a dashboard, which is not so. It's not supposed to be so. So please, when we are doing all these things, ensure that you are consistent with your designs. The color scheme is perfect. If you are using blue and you're using light blue, and ensure that they match. If you're using combining different colors, ensure that they are in the same family, so that when they will not be seeing black here, yellow here, pink here, blue here, and all that. So now, synergy, we are talking about the SQL and Power BI. And we've seen how to clean data in Power BI, I said it earlier, and how to build beautiful dashboard. But the real power comes when you understand how these two come together. I told you earlier that SQL, both of them work together, SQL and Power BI. And the synergy makes it make you now a powerful analyst if you're able to do this together. So I told you that SQL is like a foundation because that's what you use to collect your data. That's what you use to extract your data from the database. It is the tool that you use to go to the database, check for the right ingredient, clean it up and bring it to the kitchen. And then SQL will now help you. Power BI rather will now help you to communicate. So it's the communicator. It takes those clean ingredients that you have and turn them into beautiful insights, insightful meal. I told you earlier about going to a restaurant and all that thing. So that's what I'm saying right now. So you use SQL to retrieve data from the database, you filter it, prepare it, combine data that you need to combine, and ensure data quality and accuracy. It's the backbone. If you get the right data, if you are able to clean it, then that settles everything. And then the Power BI will now help you to transform that data into visuals, helps you to create interactive dashboards, and helps you to tell compelling data stories with it. And it also enables you to make decisions at a glance. And that's what Power BI will do for you. If you're able to master the two things, you'll be able to control the entire process. So you don't just report numbers. You don't just say, okay, this is the visual. You also know how to build the entire pipeline by collecting it, analyzing it. When you clean it, you analyze it, and when you analyze it, you visualize it, and when you visualize it, you tell your story. And this is how data process flows. This is the data analytics workflow. You collect your data, you clean your data. When you clean your data, you explore it. When you explore it, you visualize it. When you visualize it, you tell stories with it. You tell them, you explain it to you, and that's what visuals will also show you. But the first very important thing is understanding the business needs, but I don't really want to talk about that because that's not why we are here today. So you must know how to do the process you retrieve from your database. If you're able to do it, it gives you independence. It makes you indispensable. So how do we start building this powerful skill set? So how do you start? This one is just like a next step. The first thing is to practice. I talked about practicing. Even after I've told you all these things, if you don't go back to learn it yourself, if you don't practice, you'll be lagging, or you'll be making the same excuse and saying Power BI is hard, Tableau is hard, Python is hard, SQL is hard, Excel is hard. It will be hard if you don't practice. It will be hard if you don't take your time and learn it. And I told you, it's just like learning a new language. You are trying to learn German, you're trying to learn French, and you want to know it today. It's not possible. So we've covered a lot of grounds, but the journey to independence starts right now with action. So you have the knowledge already. Now you need to plan. The first thing you need to do is to practice. Don't let the knowledge sit idle. Start with the resources I shared earlier. I told you about SQL, W3 schools for SQL. And someone already mentioned SQL Boat, SQL Boat is also a fantastic platform that you can use to learn. And another thing, a free platform that you can learn is Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn, you can use it to learn your Power BI. Anything you need to know, because they are the owner of Power BI. Anything you need to know in Power BI, you can use Microsoft to learn it. So you can dedicate like 30 minutes every day to hands-on work, to practice everything you are learning, not just about speed. Hey, I want to learn how to become a data analyst in 3 months or in 2 months or in a month. It's not possible. For you to know it well, you need to take your time. Consistently do it. A lot of people will say they have a lot of jobs, that is taking their time, that is doing this, that is doing time. It does not really matter how many hours you spend in a day to study. Even if you spend 30 minutes, even if you spend 20 minutes, it is enough for you to. And then the next thing is to build your portfolio, because your portfolio will be a proof of your skill. It shows what you have done. So people will build and build and they will not show. Well, how will you know what you've done? How will people know you've done something? So find a public data set that interests you. Write down the SQL query, clean it up, and then build a Power BI dashboard to tell the story. Employers and clients don't want to hear what you know. They don't want to know, okay, I know how to use Power BI. I know how to use SQL. I know how to use this one, database, SQL, Azure, all those big things. Okay, so how can you do it? Show me what you've done. So your portfolio is your resume in action. And finally, lean into community. You are not alone in this journey. Join the EmpowerHer Youth community and other data groups. There are a lot of groups out there. Go to LinkedIn, you will see a lot of them. Join them, people talk. People share their projects. People share their things. Share your project. Ask those tough questions. Don't be scared of feedback. Don't say, if I post this one today, will somebody not tell me in the feedback that the color combo is bad? Is that not how you learn? That's how you learn. So please, irrespective of, you don't have to be perfect. That's how you learn. So please share what you know, ask tough questions, and learn from others who are far ahead of you. So your network is very, very critical. A lot of people have gotten a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn and all these professional platforms because they were able to network with other people, because they are able to show themselves. The thing I did not even add there is share your projects. I said it earlier, but share your project. A lot of people have gotten opportunities because they decided to do projects and they share their projects on LinkedIn, especially. You know how many millions of people that are on LinkedIn? How many recruiters that are on LinkedIn? Don't say that data is saturated. A lot of companies are still looking for data analysts. Even if you check the job section on LinkedIn, you check for it and you see a role that within 30 minutes 100 people have already submitted. It does not matter. Still still post your own, submit your resume. You never can tell. They can look at your LinkedIn profile and be like, oh wow, see what this person has done. What if all those other people that applied, they never posted anything, they never showed what they could do? And that's why it is very important for us not to just look down on ourselves. Okay, I've not learned this one very well. I need to learn how to do Excel. I need to learn how to use SQL. I need to learn the advanced level before I learn all these things. No, you don't have to. You don't have to be advanced before you start doing projects, before you start showing things. So I believe you've learned a few things from what I've said. So we've reached the end of our content. I initially wanted to show some things, not really practical parts, but I wanted to just show you an interface, the interface of Power BI, just how Power BI looks, how you can connect, how you can transform, how you can do all those things. But because of time, I was only given 1 hour, which is very, very short. So because of time, I wouldn't be looking at that. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's not an opportunity to sell myself, but I'm just saying because I share a lot of content that would help people. And I've held different live sessions that help people. We've done introduction to SQL. We've done introduction to Power BI. We've done introduction to Python. We even have another one today by 3 p.m. for those that are interested in Python. So if you're interested, you can go up to my LinkedIn. You'll see the post I made on it. So by 3 p.m. Nigerian time, you can convert it to your own time. We'll have another class on Power BI. So that's how you do it. Please learn from people. I just wanted to show you the interface. There is nothing special. I already told you everything that you need to know about already. So please, if you want to learn Power BI, just go to Microsoft Learn. Everything you need is there. If you want to learn SQL, go to W3 schools, especially those that don't have tech background. If you have a tech background, of course you can check anywhere else. But if you don't have a tech background, because a lot of people have met me and they were like, SQL is hard, SQL is this, SQL is that. But how will you know it when you are using platform that they are using big terms for you? So please use W3 School. It's free if you don't have money, sir. But some people can afford paid. If you can afford paid, you can go to Data Camp. But if you can't afford paid, please go to W3 Schools. They will help you to break it down. So I'm going to open the floor for your questions. We've talked about how SQL as a language is used to prepare your data and how Power BI is a tool to communicate your insights. Together, they're going to make a powerful pathway for you, and that's the truth. So remember this. Even if you don't remember anything, you don't understand the foundation, right? But the real magic happens when you start practicing, when you start building. You don't really need to wait for the perfect moment. Okay, I'm not done with school. Or I'm not done with this one yet. Let me finish this one before moving. Don't wait. There is no perfect moment. You will keep procrastinating. You will keep postponing it. So you don't also need to wait for the perfect course. I've already shown you a very good course that would help all beginners. So please go there. Start small. Build your portfolio. Don't say, I'm just starting. I don't know the kind of project. Practice. When you practice, it solidifies what you are learning. It solidifies what you know already. I have very few time. And then, like I said before, build your portfolio. Post it on LinkedIn. Even if it is 2 lines that you learned today, post. Let somebody know what you are doing, because you never can tell who is watching you. So you have the tools, you have the support and the resilience to make this change happen. Don't get overwhelmed easily. Don't get tired. Speak to somebody when you're overwhelmed. That was what helped me. I became overwhelmed. I was tired. But someone told me nothing good comes easy. And now I'm enjoying it. And now I've impacted a lot of people. What if I had stopped then? So whenever you are down, it is normal for you to be down whenever, especially when you are learning something new. Whenever you are tired, take a break. Take like a week. take like 2 days, take like 3 days break, and then come back refreshed. And that's how to make it happen. So please take action and empower yourself through data. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me in the comments section. Thank you.